guys, for joining us for another Mentors Moment where we like to talk to those effectively helping tomorrow's youth today. My name is Tish, and this month we are going to be getting a coach's tips on confidence. And guys, I am super excited to introduce you to Sir Rocco Astor. If you follow competitive swimming at all, you have probably heard his name before because he's kind of a big deal. he has not only had his own national records, but he has led, trained, and coached other student athletes all the way to the Olympics. And he is currently nominated for, I believe it was
Positive Coaches Alliance.
Yes. So we are definitely excited to hear all of the insight that he has to offer today. And before we get started, I want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time and joining me on this platform. And how long have you been coaching?
I have been coaching since 1986, so that makes 34 years.
Wow. I am actually born in 1986.
There you go.
33 years.
So
we need to...
I have all that wisdom.
And so just listing some of your accomplishments, I had one pre-question. So you clearly, this is more than a job, and I would almost say more than a career. Aquatics has been like a huge chunk of your life.
Well, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. So what put you on the path to begin with? Like, what got you interested in this?
In coaching or in aquatics?
In aquatics.
My dad had a fear of drowning, and he nearly drowned when he was a child. So he made my whole family. There's five of us, big family, big Catholic family, and we were all shipped out to the YMCA.
Gotcha.
Up in Portland, Maine. And,
Wow.
yeah, where there was cold water up there and accents coming out a little bit. And so we all had to have water safety training. I just started becoming competitive in sports, but I took to swimming. That's how I got into the swim side.
I'm glad you did because it's led you to this moment right
Yes.
here. All right, so we are jumping in. Why kids? Why did you choose to work with kids?
Been very fortunate. So why not work with kids?
Yeah.
All morals and values of learned behaviors, all of them. Then you go off to college and you kind of test them, and then you bring it back in your life.
Right.
And so why not be a mentor if you can? Why not influence kids?
I need to quote that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. What is your definition of confidence?
Confidence is believing in yourself, self-belief.
Yeah.
That you can accomplish. I could go out there and say goals, but just carry yourself with confidence like you know you can do it. There's always self-doubt. That's human nature.
Yeah. But self-belief has to be bigger than self-doubt, I'm assuming?
Number one.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's something you're either born into or you somehow acquire it.
Okay. Well, so like I said, you've trained in the Olympics before, and so I did want to know how confidence and victory were related, because is self-belief necessary in order to actually win?
Yeah, you have to have a network. Winning, there has to be some luck involved.
Right.
Everything has to go your way, and it has to be the optimal situation to win. On many training and just how you feel on that day. But you've got to believe that you can get there. When you get behind the swim block, you've got to believe that it's your chance. It's your time has come. It's not easy to do.
No, I can imagine, because there's so much pressure. And then, not to say God forbid, but if you're the underdog and people don't even see that.
We like being the underdog.
Yeah.
We like talking it down like we're just happy to participate. And all.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're really training to do. But it just, if you're too cerebral, and what's wrong with choking? These kids today, they flip out, and the parents, what do they call them now? Helicopter, lawnmower.
Oh, yeah, helicopter moms. Yeah.
Everyone fails.
Right.
Except for the kids at a 4.0 and they're going to Harvard and all that. I mean, athletics teaches you how to fail.
Wow. I have never heard that before, but I think that's really true.
Oh, we fail every day out there because I have such high demands, and how you're going to play beat the clock, hit the interval with the right technique just doesn't work. Whereas, I don't care what school you go to, you're going to get inflated grades because it's all about the GPA. You're going to get a rewrite if
Mm-hmm.
you don't like your paper. It doesn't happen in athletics. I mean, it's over. You got to regroup and go. So.
Yeah, and I know, and I don't know if this is necessarily swimming, but I know with other places that you always watch like the footage and you learn from it.
You learn from it. I have my iPad right here. We show the kids. I call it the evidence. It's right there.
All right. So, speaking of fail, though, how do you re-inspire confidence after losses?
I know in swimming, there's different ways, and kids handle it differently. I don't like to lose. I mean, I think it takes on a chemical change in my body where I get frustrated, and I've had to have coping skills on, losing. I don't think's any good. Does it teach you lessons? Yeah, it humbles you. But you talk to the kid. You try to, it's not the end of the world. The sun's going to rise. The
Right.
birds are going to fly. Some of them take it to a higher extreme, but for me, sometimes you find different swim events to put them in where they can excel. If they're off on their best and they're always being measured on their best, we'll put them in something they haven't done in a while. Of course, they're going to swim well in it, and then they're going to. Who doesn't feel good?
So, okay, so you
Little
have.
things.
I see that. So, focus on the next day, and then also like rebuild it with like not in a lesser mark, but a different mark to take
Yeah.
some of that.
Because they know they're going to have success.
Right.
Success breeds success.
Wow. Ooh, my goodness. I wish I was writing articles. All right. And leading into that, what are the keys to forging confidence and like even to begin with? So I know you were saying some of it's like already in you and some of it's learned. Like, what are keys to really shaping and molding that?
Well, I mean, I think it's putting people in an environment where they can be successful, and it's tough because I know in the swim pool there's 3 reasons kids come. They arrive for fitness reasons, but the number 1 reason is social. It's
Right.
a social place to hang out in a non-threatening environment, and then really the third is they want to be good. So. To forge that, it just takes time, and everyone looks at the end results instead of the process. And the process is what it's all about.
Wow. So
So working on that process with kids.
if a child's environment is filled with negativity, so let's talk about the parents out there who, some of them, I don't know if they're like living vicariously, but I think you may have seen it a time or two.
I use
where-
the word fickle.
Okay, fickle. We're gonna go with that word. Sounds better. And you kind of see that the kid themselves are downtrodden, or like how do you break that cycle when that's their environment?
Well, I think we're all humans, so we're all guilty of that. Sometimes we don't know the environment they're in. Most of the time, we don't know what's behind that door.
Right.
So you try to change it when they're at school here, and when they're in the pool, you try to make it, and we're not easy on them by any extent,
Right.
because they come in knowing, oh boy, it's going to be hard again today, or it's going to be very challenging. But sometimes they want to talk. If we don't have the skill, we have the amenities here. We can send them to people that are on staff that have the skill to talk to them. You've got a
Partner up.
well, you've got, priests on campus, you've got 2 mental health licensed counselors, so you can always refer them to them just to talk.
Right.
So, usually we can identify, one of the things that I'm pretty good at is identifying the kid, what that kid stands for, why they're swimming. But, you just try to do your best by giving them a boost of somehow.
Okay. Now, and do you identify, is that just like learned because you've been doing this for 30, 33, 34 years?
Yes and no. I mean, there's no secret formula. It's
Right.
just showing kids. I mean, you're teaching them more than just swimming. You're teaching them that everything's secular. It's going to come around in a teenager's world. Make the right decision the first time, and surround yourself by good people.
Yes.
Negative people who are uncoachable tend to gravitate to negative people, and I see that here in this program. And I don't have the best relationship a lot with those students, and I certainly don't have it with their parents because
Where did it come from?
it just, people are negative for two reasons. One, because they're miserable people,
Right.
and two, because sometimes they really care and they don't know how to make change.
Yeah.
But, all morals and values and learned behavior, so the kids become what that house environment is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we don't know.
So I would imagine with you saying that the ones who are just miserable, okay then, but the ones who are miserable because they care and don't know how to make a change, I would assume that those are people that you could work with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You just try to win them over.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a divorce, could be finances. I mean, you never know. It could be a health issue.
Right.
You just never know.
So I have a saying, a personal saying that you change your circle, you change your life, good or bad, just really.
Yeah.
So I think you put it in a position where it's more so good, is what it sounds like.
We
You
try. I mean, I have a great staff here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great program. Proven success. The formula seems to work.
Right.
And in that is work. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's the parents commit to this program financially, emotionally, the kids commit to it. So, and then a lot of them go off to these great colleges, and most of them swim, some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm at a point now where kids are coming back. I'm going to their weddings now.
Wow.
I write them recommendations for college, for jobs.
That's got to feel good.
It does, and unfortunately, I've buried 3 of my swimmers.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Addiction to, like you said, surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a difference between confidence and conceit, and how do you keep the line?
Confidence is that self-belief. It's always that self-talk. It's that innate ability where you don't need to be told what to do because you want to do it. I think conceit is, especially in social media, bragging about yourself about that. I'll take Michael Phelps, for example. He came across in the media as conceited, but he was just so focused on breaking world records because he could. He was put on earth to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now what you see of him, he went through some addictive behavior, got counseling, and now the self-confidence, it's a whole different Michael Phelps.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody watching this video knows who Michael Phelps is. So
Yeah.
I think there's a confusion. If you're not an athlete, you don't understand the difference, but there's a big difference.
Right. Could you tell me about a time where failure set you up for success? Like a time.
I mean, do you want my swimming life, personal life, work life? I mean, this is what life is.
Right.
I'll talk athletically. I remember talking to you about when what people don't understand is it's okay to choke, and we all choke in athletics. I mean, you strike out in baseball. If you're a Red Sox fan out there and you're listening, we used to choke all the time.
Yeah.
And now we don't. If you're a Patriots fan out there and you listen in, we tend to win a lot, but you can't win all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you can try to. But on my own, I think I gave the example of way back when I was a college swimmer, I was the favorite for an event in the ACCs, and it took me to my senior year to win. I kept getting second place. And,
Oh, that's
I mean,
frustrating.
it carries over to another year, and then you got to do it. I mean, that's a long time to wait to win.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just one example.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of examples.
But I think would it have given you that goal? Okay, I keep getting second, but I want first, so you keep showing up every year to give it your best.
Well, someone like me, yes.
Yeah.
But not everybody's wired with, intrinsically being able to come out and
take
say,
that.
hey, some of them need a pat on the back always. Some of them need a coach to be directed by a coach. They need to be always getting the advice and athletics, you got to do it on your own.
Right.
I mean, and we have a team environment, but no one's going to swing the bat or kick the ball for you.
Right.
It's when the loneliest moment in swimming is when the whistle blows and you step up on the block. It's almost like you're in theater because That's it's either a rock show and you embrace it, or you're scared, man. You're
Yeah.
out there saying, well, everyone's looking at me. How if you start becoming cerebral, that becomes self-doubt. That becomes detrimental.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you just got to wing it. You have to have confidence in the process.
Gotcha.
And a lot of kids, we've coddled them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 55 years old. I don't know what the millennials grew up. I mean, things were different for me
Right.
growing up. Things were different for my grandparents. And now when we write a research paper, we Google it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the library and talked to the librarian on the Dewey Decimal System and went up and looked at racks of books and actually had to read them.
Right.
It wasn't copy and paste. So we were process oriented to get results.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody's so short that they want that instant gratification.
Right.
And you see that with kids all the time.
Yeah.
Every day you see that.
Yeah. So how do you gain cohesiveness with a team?
I worked the high school team or the scholastic team differently. We did away with team captains and we select team leaders, and some of them I go meet by meet, and you kind of have to prove yourself. I think I have an award over there. We'll hand this out
I love
to
that.
a female that maybe it was physical. She did 3 events in a row.
Right.
Or maybe she was ill and came back, 2 days before and swam the meet.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was tough.
Right.
And the kids, they put this in their,
It's pride.
yeah, and everyone wants to get that. But, we have different things. We do the 1 minute rule where you have 1 minute to kind of boast about how well you did, or you can really regroup and you're frustrated, maybe get disqualified. You have 1 minute, and after 1 minute, you got to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in high school, in Scholastic, we teach nobody's bigger than the team. In club, if you come in late, I don't know where you were, you just came in late, all right. But in high school, if you come in late, I think that shows arrogance because you're hurting the team.
Right.
And I'll point that out to the kids. So it's constantly, we have movie night that we watch Miracle on Ice, and we try to do a lot of team themes, and we center it around the team. And when a coach sets the high standards, the winners will love it, and the lazy will leave it. Either way, the team improves. If that's the
Wow.
mindset. And here was a quote from 2 years ago: "Believe in belief."
Yeah.
All these little cues, and we had that when the kids came out, they would touch it, every day before workout. So you have to constantly build that environment,
Right.
because we are taught to be self-centered.
Mm-hmm.
We are taught, and as humans, we're guilty of everything, and it's tough to be a team player. We have to teach the kids to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's fun about the Scholastic season, because it's blue and gold versus them.
Right.
In club, it's like, okay, what events are you swimming, and it's all about the individual.
Mhm.
So,
Wow, I love that. I really love that, actually.
and I have all
So-
these quotes over here. I'll show you later that we put up around. It's all team theme.
Right.
So
So that's really cool.
yeah.
I have one more question. What is the biggest lesson that a child taught you?
Oh, what was that? I think I was talking to you about. Well, there's a lot. It depends on the day and circumstance, but why kids swim.
Mm-hmm.
When I started off, I kind of got it, and then when I had success as a coach, I thought kids needed to swim to be champions, and I still do. But I clearly understand that some are just coming out and want a varsity letter.
Mm-hmm.
So we created a group within the high school team for them to swim in, so they can get a varsity letter. They're never going to make it to states, but they don't want to go to states.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to wear the shirt and go.
Mm-hmm.
So really, they taught me why the kids swim, and I think earlier I said socializing is a big thing.
Right.
I mean, tonight, Friday night, who would you rather have your kids with? My assistant Scott is a married man. I'm a married man with children. Coach Ann Marie's married lady with 2 children. You want them with us? Or Friday night high school options.
Right.
So tonight, they're going to have a tough workout, they'll be tired, there'll be some downtime, and tomorrow morning we're back in the pool.
Yeah.
So I'm adding structure to their lives. I'm not
Mhm.
controlling their lives. They
Mhm.
don't have to come, but they're highly influenced to come here.
Mhm.
But kids teach you more or less what from their view of who they are. I think one of the greatest movies to watch for kids is Footloose and Fancy Free, the remake. Have you heard of that movie? Kevin Bacon.
Yes. Yes.
And basically, Kevin Bacon was a guy from Boston,
Right.
by way, and he moved down south, and nobody knew his background. They all prejudged him, and it
Mhm.
was a drinking and driving type thing where the movie sets up. The setting is death. They lost young kids, so they banned dancing from the
Mhm.
town. And then you fast forward to the end of the movie, all they want to do is innocently dance.
Right.
And Kevin Bacon's character is characterized as kind of like a party boy and so forth. Wait a minute, that's Footloose 1. Footloose 2 is not Kevin Bacon, but I'll refer to him as Kevin
Okay.
Bacon. And so at the end, they kind of have a town meeting, and the main character says, well, listen, before we put on coats and ties and have real responsibilities, we're basically village idiots, and we're supposed to be. We're kids. We're supposed to be like this.
Right.
And it really wakes you up as an adult, like, man, they're just kids.
Yeah.
So go out and get that, number 2. It's really humbling at the end. It hit me like a tidal wave, like, I get it. Wow.
Yeah.
Kids are kids.
Yeah, I love that. Because you're right. I think we do add a lot of responsibility to them, but if we don't know their why, like, it is important to know who they are and let them be kids, but a structure is definitely equally important.
We all need structure.
Yeah. And I know, I was going to say it, that you said yourself, who else do you want to be with? Because there is a time, and I would say maybe particularly in high school,
Mhm.
that you as a parent are going to lose influence. So
Oh,
who
yeah.
do you want speaking into your kid? You had better be partnered up with them, because if they're not listening to you or they're not coming to you, who are they going to?
Well, if
So
a
I
kid
think
in the
that's
swim
important.
pool gives me some back talk or disrespect, what do you think they're doing at home?
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Surround yourself with good people, and good
Mhm.
things will happen. It's an easy formula.
Yeah.
I've done it my whole life with people, not generally on this campus, some of them are, but I have a network of friends who we can rely on and have throughout life,
Yeah.
whether it was personal issues or, the business issue of coaching, that, we tend to feed off each other.
So going just a few questions off script, just because I am super curious.
Yeah.
Number one, so for your coaching,
Mhm.
and has there been like times where you yourself have doubted, just yourself, like, man, am I? And then what gives you that bootstrap moment to just, you know what, I am doing the best and I will get better? And how do you, like,
Well, I think it's human nature of, like, been doing it so long, do I
Mhm.
need to change? What
Mhm.
else is there? I never walk onto a championship deck saying, "Oh, I hope we've done enough preparation." But I think when you don't have your programmers strong at times, I think it's human nature to say, "What do I need to fix, and how do I
Mhm.
change this?"
Mhm.
But not a whole lot, no.
You're like, no, because you've already put in the work beforehand.
Yeah, and you reach out to people and you get creative and you steal other ideas
Yeah.
and you implement them. And,
Yeah.
and it works. You can't be complacent. I mean, human nature, we become complacent.
Right. And then the other one, only because I think if I was reading everything via Google,
Okay.
via Google, I did Google you, millennials,
Yeah.
that you did coach, was it like the women's, was it a women's team or
Yeah,
something?
Washington State
Yeah, Washington
University,
State,
yeah.
yes.
Well,
And-
that was single sex, but prior to that, it's always been boys and girls or men and women.
Right.
And yeah.
So, is there an it factor, where you're like, okay, this kid definitely has it, or do you see that in pretty much potentially everybody once you
no.
realize they're
Oh no. Some people have, God gave them the right DNA.
Right.
They're just blessed.
The
And you
talent.
oh yeah, we call it feel for the water or daring to race. There's certain elements, and you can see that when they're young on.
Really.
Yeah, it just leaps out at you.
I guess the only thing I would wonder is if do they have the discipline to match the talent, because that's usually
Well, here's
the
what people
equalizer.
don't understand when they say, "What's their potential?" Potential means nothing. How hard are you willing to work?
yes.
What is your talent level?
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I mean, some people pick up speaking foreign languages and they just got it. And, and you watch them, they're like rock stars, and you're like, I'm intrigued with that.
I can see why you gravitate. Well, I just want to thank you again for your time, and
Sure.
also just all the time that you put into cultivating these athletes. It's amazing.
It's a lot. I talk to people about my kids.
Right.
I have my own 2 children, but I have my kids here.
Yeah.
And we're helping raise these kids.
Yeah.
My whole staff adds value to their lives, and we help raise them.
Well, I think that mentality is probably why you are nominated for Positive Coach of the Year, because it's more than just a job.
It's more than just a job. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. I love it.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next month.
Bye now.